Hi, my name is Jo. Welcome to my Get Up Hands-Free tutorial. So you might have heard about this research that suggests that people who cannot get up from the floor without using hands are so many times more likely to die prematurely. Now, I don't know how much this is to do with the actual mobility, or it is to do with obesity or overweight or being overweight. Because basically being able to get up is something that you can actually learn to do. You just need to know how to do it, and most people never do it. So those neuromotor connections are not there. But once you start to train it, you can actually learn it. The only thing that I can think of is that when you're overweight, you might have excess fat tissue in the abdominal area, which will then limit your range of motion in the hips, and that's why perhaps you can't get up. So I'm not sure if this research is actually to do with, it says that it is to do with mobility. I'm not sure if it is just mobility or it is to do with being overweight. So it doesn't matter, because we can all learn it, and I'm gonna show you how to teach yourself to get up hands free, to get your chances of dying prematurely down on the scale. Now, jokes aside, this is actually quite important, so you are mobile enough to be able to get up off the floor without using your hands. So obviously the easiest, but when you do this test, this is not allowed. The easiest is when you cross your legs, and then I reckon nearly everyone can do that. Then the second one, I would say, is, so you're not allowed to use momentum, so you're not allowed to do this. So the second one, I would say, is when you have your feet together, and then you sort of have to lift yourself off the floor, and then one more is getting up into sort of like through malasana. What else? That way. Oh, okay, that's harder. I think you need a little bit of momentum there. Anyway, all of them work the same way, and I'm gonna show you how they work. So basically, what you need to get up off the floor is a little bit of range of motion. So closer you can bring your feet to your bum, the easier it gets. Second, you need to have some strength in your hip flexors and some strength in your glutes, and you need to just know what to do. So first thing is first. So sit as wide as you can. Okay, now you need to learn how to activate the right muscles. So to get up off the floor, we need external rotation in your hips. So that's when your toes go out, okay? But it cannot come just from the legs. It needs to come from your hips area. So hip flexors, so sort of front, and glutes. So sitting on the floor, straight back, we need to tilt the pelvis forward and backwards, forward and backwards. But how we're gonna do it? We're not gonna use our core. What we're gonna do is engage the flexor and the glutes at the same time. That door is annoying me. At the same time, to imagine that your hip wants to go forward without using, so we're not we're not using core, we're not using abs, we are not changing the position of the spine. All we're doing is engage the flexors to sort of draw the toes out, and use your glutes to improve that movement. So the glutes will help your flexors to push the hips forward. Okay, so complete few reps of that until you can actually feel that you're not just waving your legs, but it's this hip. So the hip goes to the front without using your core. So the actual movement comes from here. You can feel it in your buttocks, you can feel it in your hip flexors, so here at the front, right? Okay, so that's the muscle activation. And now the actual getting up. So the easiest, I think, it's the Malasana get up. So get your feet as close to your bum as you can. Put your hands, your arms inside your knees. It's gonna make it easier. And now forward, forward. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna imagine, because the movement is not actually gonna happen, but you're just gonna imagine that your heels are going in and your toes are going out, but they won't be actually moving, they are glued to the mat. You just doing the movement, the muscles are moving but your limbs aren't. So the neural connection is happening, the muscles are activating, but your feet are not moving, as opposed when we tried it in the pancake sit. Your feet were actually moving. Now, feet are glued to the floor, and that will cause your bum to lift. If you glue your feet to the floor and do exactly what we did in pancake, then your bum will lift. It will have to lift. So hands, arms forward, and then turn, imaginary turn in your heels and in your toes. So heels inwards, toes outwards. So like this with your feet. So they opening, and then let it go. You will sit. Open and activate. Let it go and you will sit. Open and activate. Let it go. And once again. And even if you're not actually getting up off the floor, you are training the muscles, and one day you will. And I reckon it will take you maximum 2 weeks. If you do it every day for 5 minutes, 2 weeks, and you will be getting up off that floor. If this is too difficult for you, get a yoga block or something similar and sit on it. So start from a higher position and start just lifting ever so slightly. So heels in, toes out, but you're actually glued to the floor. Is that external rotation that I'm doing? That is lifting my bum off the floor. Every other get up is exactly the same. If you bring your feet together, it will be exactly the same. You will have to try to imagine that your toes are going out and your heels are that didn't work, and your heels are going in. Okay, so obviously closer your feet, harder it becomes. So I would suggest trying with your feet wide, like sort of Malasana style. Try this, do a few reps. Start from a yoga block or a thick book. or something else you can sit on, and just complete a few reps every day, and I guarantee you 2 weeks time you're gonna get up off the floor without using your hands. Okay, let me know how it goes. DM me, or I don't know, leave me a comment, let me know, I'm curious. Thanks, and see you again.